All right. Look at it. One more time. We have the sender. The sender chooses a channel to communicate. There is a message. But during the process that you send the message and the other person is going to receive it, all right, there are certain facts that interfere with that. That is what we call noise. But even the noise, maybe the music, people talking over there, the traffic, people shouting on the street. There are so many, all right, there are so many situations in which we are involved. But there is a media. So there is another channel in which that person is going to receive it in order to decode, to process that information. So it's not as simple as you are saying. The other person needs to process the information in order to understand what you are trying to say. And then there is a feedback. So it means that there is going to be an answer there. The communication process involves, look at that, when you say hello and the other person receives the message, there are so many processes in between. The communication process involves understanding, sharing, and meaning. And there are 8 essential elements: source, the message, the channel, the receiver, the feedback, the environment, the context, and the interference. That is also part of the communication. Even if you don't want it, it's part of the communication. So here we have the sequence. No? We have the sender, the message, the encoding, the media, the decoding, the receiver, the feedback, and the noise. The sender is the person who conveys his thoughts, message, or ideas to the receiver is known as the sender. He's at the starting point of the communication system and represents the source of communication. No? For example, in a classroom, the sender is a teacher. The message is the subject matter of communication. It includes ideas, feelings, suggestions, orders, which a sender wants to convey to the receiver. Encoding. Encoding means that the process of converting message into communication symbols, which may be understood by the receiver. It includes words, pictures, gestures, symbols. Encoding translates the internal thought of the sender into a language we can understand. And the media is the path, channel, or medium through which encoded message is transmitted to the receiver, is known as media. It is the carrier of the message. It can be written form, face-to-face, through the telephone, letter, internet, WhatsApp, email. Decoding. The process of communication involves the following steps. Decoding and receiving are probably the last two in that process. The process of translating the encoded message into an effective language which can be understood by the receiver is known as decoding. So you receive the message, you translate it, you're trying to understand what it means. For example, I can speak to you in English because you know English and you are able to decode that language. I can speak in Spanish and also you have exactly the same ability to decode what I said or what I'm going to say. And finally, the receiver is the person who received the message of the sender and is known as the receiver. For example, the students are receivers in the classroom. The process of communication also involves feedback. When you say hello and the other person say hello to you, there is a feedback that you receive. In order to complete the process of communication, feedback is essential. The process of reversal of communication in which the receiver expresses his reaction to the sender. That reaction to what you say is known as feedback. Sorry. If I say hello and the other person say hello, that is feedback. If you say, excuse me, what time is it? Oh, it's 12. It's noon. That is feedback. I'm sorry, what's your name? My name is John. That is feedback. And the noise is also an element that is considered here. Any construction, any noise which hampers the communication process is known as noise. As you can hear, people talking, the traffic, the music, no sé, the cards. The hydrants may be caused to the sender, message, or receiver. It acts as a barrier to effective communication. Oh my God, creo que se me... Batería. Okay. All right, sorry that it was the battery. So any noise caused to the sender, the message, or the receiver are barriers that affect the communication, the effective communication. You can, for example, imagine that there is an exam and it's a listening part and someone shouts something. You're going to get disconnected from that exercise in which you are involved. That is what we call noise. Nowadays, any means that interferes with that communicative process is considered noise. Disturbance in the telephone line, inattentive receiver, faulty decoding, poor internet connection, improper gestures and pressures, gestures and postures, and some examples of noise. So when you're talking to the person and you are on your WhatsApp writing and you are not paying attention to the sender and the message, all right, is what we call let's put into practice what we just learned, okay? Look at this. Here we have, what elements of communications can you identify in these examples? Identify elements in these examples, please. All right. Did you identify the elements? Yes. All right. Brenda wants to remind her husband, Roberto, to stop by the store after work and buy milk for dinner. She forgot to ask him in the morning, so Brenda texted a reminder to Roberto. He texts back with a photo of the milk and then shows up at home with a gallon of milk under his arm. But something amiss. Robert bought chocolate milk when Brenda wanted regular milk. All right, the question is, well, the idea is to analyze the different elements in the communicative purpose. What elements can you identify? Any idea?
Teacher Brenda could be a sender.
Yeah, Brenda could be the sender. Okay. What else?
The husband is receive the message.
Okay, the husband is the receiver. Yeah. What is the message?
Um,
Teacher, maybe buy milk.
Okay. Yeah. Is there any noise here?
Yes, teacher. Maybe
What is it?
the type of milk.
Oh, the type of milk. Yeah, could be. Okay. What other way do you have to analyze it? What else can you recognize here? Yes.
Receiver, Roberto.
Okay. Yeah.
The context, a daily life situation where Brenda needs help with the dinner preparation.
All right. Okay. Any other thing that you can recognize there?
Yes, teacher. The media was cell phone message.
Cool. Doesn't you say that Brenda is the sender, the husband is the receiver, no? The medium is a text message, no? The cell phone. What is the code?
Writing language in the text.
Okay, English in this case, no? The message itself, well, remember the milk, no? And what is going to be the feedback here? There are, in fact, two feedbacks here. Here it says, he tests back with a photo of the milk and then show up at home with the gallon of milk under his arm. What is the feedback? Brenda tests Roberto, and Roberto texts back with what? No?
Roberto replies with a photo of the milk.
Yeah, the photo is the direct feedback. The indirect one is the gallon of milk, no? All right. Cool, very good. The noise, what is the noise here? Probably he got this started and he couldn't finish reading. There are so many possibilities. Here we have, in this example, the sender is Brenda. The receiver is Roberto. The medium is a text message. The code is the English language they are using. And the message itself is, remember the milk? In this case, the feedback is both direct and indirect. Roberto tests a photo of the milk at the store. That is the direct one. And then comes home with it indirect. However, Brenda did not see the photo of the milk because the message didn't transmit. No internet or something like that. That could be considered the noise. And Roberto didn't think to ask what kind of milk. That is the context, no? All right. So just to summarize, effective communication hinges on understanding and leveraging the basic element of the process. The sender, the receiver, the message, the medium, and the feedback. Assessing each aspect of communication from encoding message to considering noise and context is essential for ensuring clarity and resonance, particularly in formal or important exchanges. Consider cultural, language barriers, professional tone, can influence also on the message you receive or you're trying to understand. So don't forget to provide appropriate context. Consider the audience, because with that, we cannot do anything about it. Okay, let's move on into the homework. This is the last homework, and it's going to be average with your presentation you made the other day, okay? This is the last academic work, and this time you're going to work alone. Create a graphic organizer exemplifying the elements of communications and be ready to present it in class, okay? So you're going to create, you're going to research elements of communication. You elaborate a graphic organizer about those elements, but you are going to create an example that illustrates that. Something similar to Brenda. Okay? Something similar to Brenda. You create the situation, and then you analyze and you provide examples of the different elements in that situation. That's what you're going to do. When you're going to upload it? Friday, this Friday. Yes, because next week we start the evaluations, and I need to know that you really got it. ¿Ok? Entonces, vamos a crear un organizador visual con todos los elementos, ¿no?, de un proceso de comunicación, y van a crear su propio ejemplo, así como el de Brenda, y van a ilustrar cuál es el sender, the receiver, the media, the code, the noise, the feedback, the content. Esa nota, ese ejercicio que lo van a hacer y lo van a subir el viernes, ¿ya? Se va a promediar con la nota de la exposición que dieron la semana pasada, ¿ya? Esos dos se van a promediar. Se va a promediar la exposición, se va a promediar actividad y la monografía, ¿sí? Los tres se promedian y va a salir una. Ah, no, que necesito 4. Perdón, me estoy equivocando. Se va a promediar con su speech, ¿sí? La monografía es una nota aparte, viene a ser la cuarta nota, ¿ya? La cuarta nota del último mes. Entonces, a cada uno les ha tocado un acto comunicativo. Ya sea que fue el debate, the interview, ¿ok? O the debate, interview, and the simulation. That is a kind of role play. Ya José ha asignado quiénes van a trabajar de debate, quiénes van a trabajar. Muchos de ustedes han elegido, inclusive han elegido ustedes. Ya. Pero vamos a trabajarlo así. Entonces, tienen que coordinar con sus compañeros, porque no lo van a crear en la clase, lo van a performance in the class. Lo van a demostrar en la clase. ¿Correcto? Entonces, cuando hablamos, los tres actos comunicativos envuelven el mismo proceso. Lo que va a cambiar un poquito es de medium, ¿no? Pero los tres son exactamente los mismos. Actos de comunicación en los cuales interfiere the sender, the receiver, the media, the code, the message, the noise, and so on. Entonces, ya las instrucciones están dadas. La próxima semana empezamos con la evaluación de este curso, ¿sí? Porque necesitamos terminar para tener todo listo, poder entregar el acta y que esa nota se procese lo más rápido que se pueda para poder comenzar el próximo semestre a tiempo, ¿no? Entonces, ¿alguna duda, alguna consulta? Entonces, ¿qué vamos a hacer ahora? van a trabajar solos. Ya no vamos a trabajar ni en parejas ni en grupos. Solos. Cada uno va a trabajar su organizador visual. ¿Ya? Va a crear su ejemplo, así como el ejemplo que acabamos de analizar. ¿Correcto? Y lo vamos a subir a la plataforma, al Classroom, este viernes. O sea, tenemos estos 50 minutos que creo que nos quedan para empezar a investigar e ir elaborando. Y ese trabajo tiene que estar listo y subido en la plataforma el viernes. El viernes corrijo, ahí sí voy a corregir uno por uno, corrijo y le pongo la nota y lo promedio con el speech que ya dieron. De esas dos notas va a salir la nota del tercer mes. Entonces, como todos necesitan saber, ya les di sus notas, ya les di su feedback sobre su examen, sus notas en clase, ¿correcto? Ya esa parte ya está cancelada. Ahorita vamos a trabajar solamente la nota que corresponde al Academic Work 3, Academic Work 4, que es la monografía, y the evaluation, ¿ya? The final evaluation. Que hay 3 different mediums, ¿no? Or channels, if you want to say it in that way. The debate, the interview, and the simulation. In the debate, we have 2 groups. Yes? One is in favor, the other one is against that. All right? So, a debate doesn't mean that you are going to fight with your partners. A debate means that you are going to express your position, okay, what you believe, and defend that position. All right? So that's why we're going to have 2 groups. One group is in favor, the other one is against that. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to fight with the other group. That is not the idea of a debate. The idea of a debate is that with education very well prepared, you express your point of view. Telling the others, okay, depending, no, if you're in favor or against, what you think about it. You have to respect turns, time turning. Because some people believe that a debate, I'm going to fight. No, that is not a debate. A debate is trying to express your ideas, your thoughts with facts. And in order to do that, you need to investigate, to assume a position. All right? So the first thing we're going to do is to work with your partner and decide. You need to talk to your friends, because if not, it will be hard. With your partners, all right, you need to talk with your partners and decide it. Who is going to be in favor, who is against it. All right? And with thoughts, with ideas, you are going to express yourself. A debate is a structured discussion between 2 or more opposite sides. What involves a debate? You present your arguments. There is a counter argument. No, that is the other side that is going to oppose to your ideas. And then evidence to support your position. With those evidence, you can refute what the other person said. That is a debate. A debate doesn't mean that I'm going to fight. No, that is not a debate. Just in case, because there are some people that believe that if they shout, okay, it's a debate. No, that is not a debate. A debate is a structured discussion between 2 opposite ideas. are in favor, the others are against. It involves that first each group present its arguments. No, they say why they are in favor, the others say why they are against. All right, and then the counter argument. So you tell the other person why not, why you think or feel in another way. Since that is a structural discussion, it means that you need to take certain terms. You cannot speak all the time. The debate needs to balance the situation. Yeah, that is your homework. Try to balance that. Okay. Any doubt, any question about the debate?
Yes, teacher. I have a question.
Sure.
For example, for